TFA fam, welcome back into another video. Today we're going to be discussing some wide receiver sleepers, some wide receiver fours and beyond that you can consider starting this week. It is Thanksgiving. I hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving this week. In the comment section below, let us know what's your favorite side dish. What's your favorite top 3 favorite side dish that you're looking forward to this week? And if you live outside of the United States, I know not everybody celebrates Thanksgiving. What game are you looking forward to most this Thursday? Anyways, let's jump into it. We're going to talk about some of our favorite wide receiver sleepers this week. Cody, I know you got somebody that you want to tell everybody about. Let's roll.
Yeah, this is a guy who has been one of the biggest disappointments in all of the fantasy landscape this year, but there is reason to like him, and you talked about him last week. Didn't really pan out, but that is Robbie Anderson. I mean, this guy has had more than 50 yards just one time this year, but here come the Miami Dolphins. I think it's a sneaky spot for him to have a nice day. Going into week 11, Miami had given up the second most fantasy points to wide receivers on the year, and then they ended up giving up 220 yards and 2 scores to the elite Joe Flacco last week. So I think this could be a game where we see Robbie Anderson kind of, have a little bit of a mini breakout. I do like him. I think he is a sneaky play for week 12.
Yeah, I don't mind that too. He was actually somebody that I was going to talk about. But man, he is hard to trust. And speaking of guys that are hard to trust, let's talk about Laviska Shenault. He is somebody that had a lot of praise this offseason, somebody that I really love, but he got Urban Meyered. So, that's a thing, making it a thing, because Urban Meyer is the stone cold worst. Well, I shouldn't say he's the worst. I think there's a couple other coaches, but he's right there at the bottom half of the league for sure. Over the last 2 weeks, so he has seen 13 targets, but the biggest benefactor here is, one, that you hate to see it, but Jamal Agnew is out for the season. So the Jamal Agnew experience is over in Jacksonville, and that's freeing up 7.4 targets per game since week 5. And that's a pretty decent amount of targets. And I think a lot of this could go to Laviska Shenault. He plays the exact role that he should, that he is much better suited to play than Jamal Agnew. And that is being a player. You get him all around the formation. You give him opportunities out of the backfield. You do all these things. That's exactly what Urban Meyer is looking for. That's exactly what Laviska Shenault is built for. And it makes no sense, but it is Urban Meyer. And over that span, Laviska Shenault is 20th in yards after the catch on the season. He's getting 6.2 targets per game. So some of the opportunities have been there. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence has not been great this year, but they get the thing that cures all, and then they get the Atlanta Falcons this week. And the Falcons have been absolutely horrendous this year in terms of stopping the pass. They're 30th in pass DVOA. They allow the 7th most fantasy points to wide receivers. So this is a great spot for Laviska Shenault in a matchup without Jamal Agnew in it. On the season, Shenault has 35 receptions, 358 yards with a big goose egg at the touchdown. So I think this could be a good bounce back spot for Shenault. I know you have to have some risk tolerance here to play Shenault, but I think this could be a really good spot for him. Kadarius Toney, I want to hit on him as well. He was targeted a ton again this matchup on Monday against the Buccaneers. He had double-digit targets in that game. Obviously, the game did not go the way they had hoped. Only 10 points scored by the Giants, and the lone touchdown was scored by their offensive tackle. So way to go, Giants. Way to go. But and this week they do get a bounce back spot against the Philadelphia Eagles. They have some corners there that they can definitely attack. Steven Nelson being one of them. Darius Slay has been played very well, but Kadarius Toney gets moved around all over the formation as well. Does play a fair bit in the slot. We'll have to see if Sterling Shepard's able to return this week, but if he's not, I think we can see a really good spot for Kadarius Toney. So I do like him as well. Cody, do you have any other kind of guys floating around there that you want to talk about, or no?
The one guy I did want to mention, you basically touched on everything for the matchups and all that, but that is Marvin Jones on the other side of things. He started the season off, pretty solid. I think he had 3 straight weeks of wide receiver 3 or better production, and then everything kind of just went down the shitter. I think he did have one random week where he was wide receiver 7 on the week, but outside of that, it has been really bad. But like you were laying out with everything with the Atlanta matchup and with losing Jamal Agnew, did you have anybody else that you want to touch on here as a deeper play?
Yeah, I'd say a few more guys I want to hit on. One, I think Odell Beckham is very interesting. I know he didn't really play a whole lot in his first game of action, but he's now at the bye week to really work with Matthew Stafford to get more on to learn this playbook. I think he should have a much better grasp of this playbook moving forward, and they're going to absolutely need him. No Robert Woods, and so they're going to have to kind of get him involved. It isn't a great matchup against Green Bay, But like we saw last week, I mean, some of these wide receivers can get loose. I mean, we saw Adam Thielen have a good game, Justin Jefferson have a good game against the secondary. So while this defense has been pretty good, I do think Odell Beckham is kind of an interesting flex play this week in a matchup that should have a lot of points scored. And so I don't mind Odell Beckham. I have him as a high-end wide receiver 4 this week. And then a few other guys, Cedric Wilson, I've talked about him, does play Thursday. Sounds unlikely that CD Lamb will be able to make it back for that game. Even if he doesn't, Cedric Wilson is at the very least the number 3 wide receiver in this offense.
Yeah.
But very well could be the number 2 wide receiver next to Michael Gallup. Now, things did not go well whatsoever for the Cowboys. The Chiefs absolutely destroyed them this past Sunday. But I don't think the Raiders' defense is as good as the Chiefs. And I know people are going to be like, what do you mean the Chiefs' defense is good? But the Chiefs' defense has been absolutely elite over the last month and a half of the season.
Yeah.
It has been the starkest turnaround from the first 5, 6, 7 weeks of the season to where we're at now for what this defense has done. The Raiders can get pressure, but I just don't think their secondary is good. And we can see a bounce back spot here at home for the Cowboys. So Cedric Wilson, I think, is also an interesting guy, completely available everywhere. I think he's rostered like 1% of leagues. So if you need to add somebody, I think he's an interesting play. And then last but not least, Nico Collins, again, kind of a desperation play. Probably has to be in like a 14, 16 team league, but you do get the Jets. The Jets are terrible against the pass as well. They're just a terrible defense all around. And, you know, we are getting the Jets versus the Houston Texans. I know everybody's super excited about this. One they got circled on their calendar. But I don't mind Nico Collins. He's seeing some targets here in this offense too. I think this could be a little bit more high scoring. Last week, the Texans really had their way with the Titans, and it was a really sloppy, rainy game, so they'd have to pass a whole lot. This is going to be a lot different. So Nico Collins is somebody that I have some interest in as well. But other than that, obviously there's some other really great play. There's some other decent plays out there. Jameson Crowder makes some sense. Kendrick Bourne, you know, if they could figure out a way to score some points there, would make some sense. He has actually flown under the radar this year. I don't mind Traquan Smith either for the Saints. He's a guy I continue to talk about that I think has some appeal. And also Gabriel Davis going against that horrible secondary for New Orleans. So those are all just some guys I really want to hit on really quickly. Again, let us know down in the comment section below, what are your top 3 Thanksgiving go-to side dishes? And tell me why turkey is the worst, because I am Team Ham over here. I will fight anybody on that. Team Ham. Hit that subscribe button, all you Team Ham people. Or if you're not, I don't really care. We appreciate everybody checking out the video, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.